Hello friends, it's Friday. Welcome to the shed. I am Chevy. If this is your first time here, Fridays are buy days, which means you provide the content. It's a day off for me. The rest of the week, I come up with topics and ideas, and I sit down and discuss. Fridays, I let you ask questions, but we're going to take it a little further. I let you maybe even propose just discussion topics or even ask me to do certain things because I'm more interested to know what you want out of the show more than what I want out of the show. I'm already getting what I want out of the show. This is episode 50. The 50 times I've sat down at this table, turned on the same camera, talked into this. Well, I've only had this microphone for 2 weeks. Talked about whatever pops into my head that day or the days before, and it's been amazing. The feedback from the community that is slowly building around this has been really amazing and super fun, and I've had some really awesome discussions with you guys. So 50 is not the end. 50 is not even close to the end. If anything, 50 is just the very tip of the beginning of whatever the heck this is going to become. So thank you guys for hanging out with me. Again, if this is your first time here, welcome. Thank you for stopping by. I hope that you like the conversation and want to keep coming back. If you're listening on iTunes or on the Google Play podcast store thing, welcome as well. Please know that I do things on this show that are visually important. No, that's not what I'm looking for. I do use visuals on this show from time to time, so you might miss out if you're not stopping by and hitting the YouTube. But in the description of each podcast, I believe there'll be a link to the YouTube. If that's not happening, let me know, and we'll figure that out. But here we are. It's Friday. You've asked some questions. I have some answers. We have some mail. I mean, it's a good day. It's been beautiful this week. 5 days in a row, I've got to ride my motorcycle, and that is so cathartic for me. Driving my truck, I love my truck. I enjoy my truck, but after a long winter of driving it and then this spring of nothing but rain, I am so glad to be back behind the handlebars, in the saddle, riding my motorcycle every day. It's been gorgeous. So, questions. Knife test. Yep. That's not what I said. Knife Tex, as in Texas, I assume, because his avatar is a knife going through Texas. My question for Friday, have you ever done any welding? If so, do you own a welder? Yes and yes. I grew up welding with acetylene torches. My dad taught me how to acetylene weld or gas weld from a very early age. When he was in college, he took welding, and that's what they welded with, TIG or gas. So he learned to weld gas. He took, I want to say, 2 semesters of welding in college, and both of them were focused on acetylene gas welding, which is funny because when I tell people that in the professional world, when I was a mechanic and such, I would say, yeah, I weld with acetylene, and they would say, you don't weld with acetylene, you mean braze. No, I don't mean braze, I mean weld. You get a flux-coated welding rod and you weld metal. I've welded car frames together with acetylene. That's beside the point. Not trying to get on a high horse. I also own a MIG welder. It is I don't have it here. It's at my dad's garage. It is a little 110, one of those little 110 welders. I believe it's a Champion brand, which was made by Lincoln. Sold at like Sam's. But I'm really bad with it. I've used it to make some really ugly welds just because I needed to do something quickly. And I haven't taken the time to sit down with it and really learn how to weld. Part of the reason is it's a flux core welder. I don't have the gas shielding. I have the conversion kit, but I priced the bottle locally, and it's outrageously priced. And it was going to cost me more to rent the bottle than to buy a bottle, and I just never got around to buying the bottle. So, yes, I can weld, kind of. Jonathan Howell says, evidently I let the oil in my car get embarrassing low, so I had to add 2 quarts of oil today. It's been less than 5,000 miles since the last change, but also has been 5 months. What makes a car burn oil like that? Well, assuming that you're not having oil dripping on the ground, which would give you a pretty good indication of where the oil is going, you probably are burning it, and depending on the vehicle, that might not be uncommon. I owned 4 Dodge Neons, and all 4 of them burned about 3 quarts of oil every 3,000 miles, about a quart every 1,000 miles. And it was just normal for those cars to burn a ton of oil. Where does it go? Well, there's 2 places it goes internally. One is around your valve seals, and one is around your piston rings. Valve seals, remember our discussion, you got the valves on the top of the engine. Imagine like a nail head that goes on, and the shaft moves in and out. Well, there's a rubber silicone seal with a spring in it that goes over the shaft of that valve that keeps the oil from dripping past the valve. And those go bad. It just happens. So oil is going to, every time that valve opens, oil will run down the stem of the valve and get into the combustion chamber and burn off. That's one place it can go. The other place is around the piston rings. A piston, so imagine my cup is the piston, is going up and down in the cylinder. There's a ring, or a set of rings around it that seal it to the cylinder wall that the piston's inside of. That does 2 things. One, it keeps the cylinder walls clean and keeps the oil in the bottom of the engine. Second thing is it keeps combustion gases from going into the bottom of the engine. So the bottom of your engine, where the pistons are actually moving, that's just sitting in a bath of oil. And as the pistons move, oil gets splashed all around in there. We don't want exhaust gases getting blown down in there. And if the rings aren't tight, you won't get any compression when you go to compress. That being said, in a less expensive engine, like the 4 cylinders, little cars like that haven't been broken in properly, the rings might not have seated properly, and they probably are getting some blow by as well as oil going up past the rings. So every time the piston comes down, it picks up some oil, and that just goes up inside the combustion chamber, and boom, you've got oil. It's probably not uncommon for your vehicle. I wouldn't be too worried about it. It's only 2 quarts. Probably fine. Unless your oil light comes on. Then you're not fine. I have one friend, when his car comes in for an oil change, it's usually, he usually only has like a quart and a half left. So, if it's not making noise, it's probably okay. In a modern vehicle, the computer will adjust for the extra hydrocarbons anyway. Kind of. It's somewhat of a lie, but not really. Doesn't matter, we have mail. And that's awesome. If you want to send me a letter, please do. I will send you a postcard. I love getting letters. Absolutely love it. Love sending postcards. And look how pretty they are. Come on. You know you want one. Just send me a letter. Or send me a postcard, and I'll send you a postcard back. How easy is that?
What's this? A letter for me.
All right, we have another letter this week from Scott. This guy has sent me 3 things. The last one was the amazing drawing of the AT-AT, and this is curiously in a similarly sized envelope, and it says on it, "Do not bend." So I wonder what's in here. Fun fact, Scott is in construction. Construction guy. Didn't know he was an artist until I opened that last week. All right. Yes, this is another piece of artwork, and I don't know what it is, so I'm going to open it face down again and show you first, and I'll read the note. How's that sound? I think he just likes getting postcards. Did you know I have postcards? You want one? All you got to do is send me a letter, and I'll send you a postcard. You don't have to draw me anything or send me something to put on the wall. Just send me a note that says hi. They're fancy. Come on. Chevy, I drew this. Oh, I know what it is. For my nephew's birthday, and decided to copy it for you. As you can tell, I customized it for you before I sent it. Do what you will with it, be it shed wall, personal collection, or whatever. The choice is yours. If you like them, I'll send more in the future if I draw more. Keep up the great work, Scott. P.S. I have discovered I don't care for the taste of envelope glue. You could always tape these, dude, and not lick them. Whoa. This is the Emperor's Royal Guard TIE Interceptor. How cool is that? And you can see, I don't know if you can make it out on the camera, but in the background of that, it does say the Daily Shed. So he's right. He modified it to say the Daily Shed, which is amazing. Scott, I think that has to go on the wall. For those of you who don't know, I love Star Wars. I'm a very large Star Wars fan. So this is amazing. Yet again, in colored pencil. Thank you, Scott. Thank you so much. Again, if you guys want to send me something, the address is below. Also in the description of this video or podcast, because we're on iTunes and Google Play Podcasts. All you got to do is search, or you can click the links in the description of this thing that you're listening to. I'm not sure if you're listening to it or watching it. Anyway, enough rambling. 50 episodes in the can. Next week, it's a new beginning. Who knows what we're going to do next week? I don't. Well, I do. I have an idea. Have a good weekend. For those of us in America, have a good 3-day weekend, a good holiday weekend. I hope you get some time in with your families, do some grilling, cook out, all that great stuff. I can't wait to come back Monday and talk to you about whatever crappy movie I watch. I have so much fun doing this show. It's completely ridiculous. Please like, comment, subscribe, share. Every time you hit one of those buttons, type something in, or share my video. It helps me out tremendously. Thank you so much. I'll catch you next week.
Hey, Doc, wait! I want to ask you something.
Today's random fact comes from Oscars.org. What were the Oscars made of during World War II? I would have never asked that question in my entire life. It never occurred to me. Due to a metal shortage Due to a metal shortage. Dang it, my phone went off. During World War II, Oscars were made from a... Oscars were made of painted plaster for 3 years. Following the war, the Academy invited recipients to redeem their plaster figures for gold-plated metal. The Oscars have a trademark? It's like registered. I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but it's a registered trademark. Huh. And they were plaster. I didn't ever think they were metal. I thought they were cast resin or something.